Guys, it is officially time for Peak. We're talking about the best movie this week. My pick, that being the 2001 film Spirited Away, which of course is the story of a little girl who is moving to a new house in a new city with her parents, and they get lost along the way trying to find the route there, and eventually she ends up in the spirit realm. Her parents turn to pigs, and she is then trying to work in an inn to get the witch that runs the place to turn them back into humans and get back. And it's a self-explanatory film, pretty cut and dry, nothing confusing about it. This is an easy to understand baby film for babies, just like Tanner's baby haiku.
That's right, my haiku is inspired by Spirited Away. A young girl moving, trapped in a magic onsen. Day saved through friendship. This one I see, actually, I won't even say this. This one is, a visually stunning and whimsical film.
Downright peak, you might say.
Huh?
It's downright peak, you might say.
No.
Damn.
I don't know. What does that have to do with what I was just saying?
I'm just saying, in general, you'd say it's peak.
I wouldn't.
Oh, no.
I have been on record as not really enjoying very, let's say, loosely structured plots. But that wasn't really a problem for me with this one, because while it wasn't a very linear plot structure, I think it actually does a very good job of keeping me engaged. One trick that they do that I think really helps with that is they kind of have this sort of simple repeating thing where she will perform some kind of simple task to help someone. She gets some kind of object out of that task, and then that object helps her solve a problem a little later in the movie. They do this multiple times throughout the movie, and it kind of helps create that linear plot progression that I appreciate in a movie.
Like in Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I said Spirited Away is a Metroidvania.
Yeah, this movie does have a really unique plot structure. I do appreciate it just because it is a longer movie, but it doesn't feel like it's very long. Just because it's so fucking dense with shit happening, whether that be like, the incredible 2D animation, which I would go out on a limb and say is probably the best 2D animation we've seen so far. I don't even know those are a contest with anything else.
You're telling me Superman versus the Elite is not on the same tier as this
Not
one?
even close.
I can't wait for Tanner to rank this lower than that.
But basically the thing with this movie is they never let you get bored just because they always introduce like one little plot thread or they'll hint to something at the start and it'll slowly just build up in intensity over time. Like obviously No Face is a really good example of that. They constantly show him doing stuff throughout the film and he's not really like a main focus. Frankly, it'd be hard pressed to even say they're like a main character at all. They're kind of just somebody that's in the plot with them, and it's not really that big of a character, even though people, fucking love No Face. But that's just like another thing. Like Haku, he's got his adventure of what he's doing in the background while she's working in the inn. And slowly just like things that have been seen early just constantly get brought back into the plot, or like you get little snippets of what's happening through, Hiro's perspective while she's working at this inn, which I think is really interesting, and it's a really fun way of doing it. And then the whole movie kind of like settles down in the train ride when she finally gets out of like the hectic nature of the inn. It's a very beautifully created film in lots of ways other than just the art, I would say, which is interesting because this movie
Miyazaki hates this one. It's his least favorite he's ever made.
This one fucking sucks. But no, the way they produced this film, from what I understand, is that they didn't really have like a specific plot they were going for. It was mostly just they had a bunch of ideas they wanted to do, and then they found a way of just like connecting all of them, from what I understand.
Oh.
Obviously they they fleshed it out more as they got to that point, but it was primarily just like a bunch of ideas. They figured out what stuck and they kind of put together, which makes sense to me. But making it seem this cohesive and as complete of a project as it is, it's impressive.
I think that does make a lot of sense, and it shows a lot, actually. Because, okay, let me just get this out of the way, boys, okay? I just want to say it real quick here. This is a very pretty film, okay? It looks fantastic. I like the music, all right? I acknowledge that those are big positives for the movie, all right? However, there's something I've stated before that I really dislike about Ghibli movies, which is that this film does lack a climax. However, the biggest problem with it, I think, is that there's really no weight to any of the events that transpire throughout the film whatsoever. Like, a big example of this is when our fucking main character girl, she's finally meeting her parents, okay? So they're finally reconnecting after all this time, after she's worked so hard to get back together with them, and they just don't care whatsoever. She doesn't make a big deal out of it, you know, obviously they don't make a big deal of it because they don't really know anything went on, but like, okay, you did all this and just nothing's gonna happen now, huh? You're not gonna give them a hug or nothing? Alright, fair enough, I guess. And just as a result, it leaves me feeling really unsatisfied while watching this. Like, I'm just checking out a series of events until the film eventually it just ends.
Were you not invested in her adventure at all?
No, not really, because the film wasn't trying to convince me I should be.
Oh, well, I'm the exact opposite. I was very invested in the adventure.
Okay.
I liked the payoff a lot. I enjoyed her trip, her discovering more about herself, becoming more confident as a person. You know, doing all the adventures and stuff, and then the payoff of, you know, her getting out with her family and moving on. You know, she even reconnected with the spirit that saved her when she was a small child. Lots of things. I fucking adore this movie. I think you're a hater, Nico. Fuck you, bitch.
Like, you know, which I hate to say. Like, I hate to complain. I'm kidding. I love that. But I don't want to be all up here being a contrarian saying, like, oh, Spirited Away, it's overrated. But it actually is, I think.
I agree with the point Nico is making there, although it seems that I do not hold it against the movie nearly as much as he does.
Like, I think the biggest thing about this is that it just feels more like the kind of film you just kind of sit back and, like, try to get immersed into the whimsical world rather than, like, really be invested in any sort of story that's happening.
Yeah, I would hard disagree on that. I think there's plenty to grasp onto to the total contrary.
Alas.
Frankly, Nico, you're being a bit of a cultural supremacist. This is just how storytelling is in the East, which is to say bad.
So true.
Yeah, this is a very non-conventional way of telling a story, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I enjoy it for being non-conventional. It's very unique in its approach, which fits the Ghibli style a lot.
You know, sometimes conventions are the way they are for a reason, though.
Alas, you're a hater. Opinion discarded.
This is another Nico doesn't like the types of people who like this movie. Women!
That's not even true, though.
He exclusively likes the type of people that like this movie. That's all he goes for when he's dating.
I do think the kinds of women who enjoy this movie are severely damaged, though.
Which is your type.
Exactly. So, Dylan, you haven't really said much about this one whatsoever. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I really don't have anything out of the ordinary to say about this movie. I agree with everything Jackson said about this movie. My brain is very easily distracted and entertained.
No way.
And I actually can appreciate that I can watch this movie and maybe not necessarily understand everything that's going on the first time, but that entices me and intrigues me to watch it again, and then allows me to piece it together every time I watch it. And I've watched this movie many, many, many times. And quite frankly, I get the same feeling every time I watch it. And I just like how I can piece more and more of the story together if I didn't understand it the first few times, which I don't know, I like that. I like being able to more coherently put the movie together as I watch it. Tanner, you're laughing a whole lot. You got something to say, my guy? That did not come through. That'll sound great in post. But yeah, no, I think this movie is visually stunning. I like the characters. I like the events that happen. I like the kookiness of the movie. And I just like the wacky things that happen. I like the subplots that are happening. And everybody, like, trying to help her, you know, get her parents so she can leave. And, you know, the bonds and connections she makes throughout the way. And like Tanner was saying, I like how she's confronted with the problem. She solves the problem. And she uses the reward or the fruits of that labor to pursue and progress the next problem she comes in contact with. So yeah, overall, I think I really, really like.
Yeah, I would say one thing that's really good about this movie is the characterizations of everybody specifically. Like, also we have the pretty consistent progression in, you know, our main character. You know, she gets a lot more confident for the movie. You know, we've got No Face, who kind of like more understands what's going on with people as we go through. You can even maybe say the fucking, you know, Yubaba, the main villain of the film, isn't even necessarily a villain. They're just kind of running a tight ship and they're just trying to make money, you know, it's just how it works there.
Yeah, much like Killmonger from Black Panther.
Yeah, no, everyone's really consistent. I think people act very rationally for the most part. I think most of the characters are very likable too. It's just a very well-made film. One thing that I appreciate about films like this too is that every time you watch it, like I've seen this movie a million times, as most people have, and every time I watch it, I just get more and more immersed into it, and I also just discover more and more like minor things that I hadn't noticed on previous watches. which is really entertaining. I feel like I can keep watching this movie forever, and I'll just keep understanding more of like what's going on and just understand it more deeply. Like one of the minor things I noticed this time, which I don't even know if it was like an actual intentional thing or not, but like just the staff that work there. To me it seemed like there was a progression of people that are frogs, and then there was also like there's like the gradient of frog to person, and there was a lot of people that were within that gradient somehow, and I was like, wonder if there's like a fucking caste system at this inn where people slowly turn from a frog to a human or something the longer they work there. How, maybe if they're a better worker or not, I don't know.
I kind of saw it as going the opposite direction. Like everyone, like all these people or all these characters were actually originally humans, and then they start turning into fantastical creatures the longer they've been there.
It's the only thing I'm saying against that, because I could also see the way you're looking at it, specifically
is that they're so freaked out that there's a human there.
No, it was when they tasked our main character to clean the big bath, and they fought back not wanting to do that because that's a frog job, which makes me think that they're on like the lower level of it. The frogs are the ones that have to go and clean the big annoying one.
Well, that kind of still could make sense in my theory, just because like the ones who have been there the longest are the ones who, are most fucking trapped and have forgotten their names for the longest amount of time and etc.
Perchance.
Maybe.
Anyways, I could talk about this movie all fucking day.
Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of gotten my point across of that I adore this
Nico
film.
is cringe.
I feel you, buddy. I feel you on this one. 100% everything agree with you, man.
Well, let's see if you guys rank it the same. Dylan, what are you ranking it?
Oh, man. After talking about it, I think my rank... I literally don't think anything is wrong with it.
Holy
Well, I don't
shit.
think anything's wrong with Surf's Up either, but I didn't give that one a very high rank.
I think something had to have been wrong with it for you to rank it low. Anyway, I think I'm gonna give Spirited Away an S. I'll say S+. Fuck it.
Holy cow.
Holy shit. Not even Godzilla got that.
Yeah, I'd also personally give this movie an S+.
There you go.
I think this is definitely one of my favorite movies, and it shows. This movie's fucking awesome.
That's crazy. Dude, Tanner, what are you giving it, man?
I'm giving it an A+.
Whoa. I'm really flip-flopping between two ratings here.
Give it the higher one.
F- and F.
Give it the higher
which one's
one,
feeling
Nico.
it?
Do
The
it.
higher one?
Give it the higher one.
You guys did
You know
talk
you
it up
want
a
to.
lot.
Give in to peer pressure. Do it.
I guess so, sure. I'll give it an A-.
Holy shit.
Holy cow.
Oh my god.
Considering this movie, anything lower than A tier is asinine, Nico. I don't think I'll pay attention to a single rating you have of any movie we've ever seen from this point onwards.
Which is truly unfortunate because you guys tend to rate movies the same.
Yeah, this is a straw that broke the camel's back.
For real.
Yeah, thinking Spirited Away of all movies, like culturally acclaimed, this movie is like ubiquitous as like one of like. I'm not gonna
movie of
fucking
all
rant
time.
about it anymore. Thinking that shit's a B tier is insane.
Sorry,
yeah, so
dude.
this
Maybe
land-
it should be a little better if it wanted to get a higher ranking.
It fucking sucks as suck.
That's awesome. Dylan, please remember this the next time you complain about us ripping into your favorite movies.
Fair enough, dude. I'll probably forget and completely 180, but Anyway,
There you
Jackson,
go.
what does that land Spirited Away at?
How dare you guys hate The Notebook?
Anyways, it lands at an S-.
Let's go.
Wow, I'm impressed it was still in S tier, to be honest.
Those S
It had
pluses
two
are putting
S
the
We
work.
got
pluses.
two S+, dude.
S plus is doing the work, baby. Let's go.